I know this person for 20 years, and then they're high up in the transportation system in the TSA. It's actually the agency above them. And so I called them up, and they said, hey, I'm in town. Let's go meet. So I went and met them, and they said, listen, they called in the managers. This is going to happen middle of September. They're going to try to make all the TSA workers in airports wear them. Then by mid-October, Biden's going to try to bring back masks in the airports and on planes. And I said, well, that's insanely unpopular. What's their excuse?
Because Alex Jones is now, again, right. So he called me last week, and he said, hey, they're going to go into new lockdowns. Starting, I believe he said October. I don't remember the exact timeline. But then he said he was going to keep a lid on it until and then he spoke about it anyway. So look, love Alex Jones, impulse control, not chief amongst his strongest qualities. But here's the thing, he called me before this happened, actually. Now, since he called me, I believe it was Wednesday or Thursday, now we're seeing COVID restrictions being implemented across the board at a lot of places. So it turns out he's at least partially right. Only time will tell if he's fully right. Here we have, I believe this is a clip from NBC.
COVID is making a comeback this summer, so many of us would like to leave it in the past, but cases are once again on the rise. So when will new booster shots roll out?
Someone wrote that lead in and he was happy with it. COVID is making a comeback this summer, just when you thought it was safe to go back to the voting booth. Everything he says, someone wrote it, was like, that's great. Let's use this.
Yeah.
Who's buying this? Who's still going?
A lot of people.
Can't we just leave them behind at this point?
You'd like to.
They're victims of war. It's not what we could do. They're casualties.
Send them to Europe.
Send them to Europe.
Yeah. Except Sweden, because they won't feel safe there.
There's no way they're going to pull this off.
You don't think
no
they
way.
will? I don't know. I think they
no
could.
way.
No, there'll be actual. You thought it got ugly the first time.
Oh.
Now that we know it's a fucking lie, you want to see some fights on planes and stuff?
Exactly.
Well, yeah, but if you want to just go to Spirit.
That's true.
They have like full-time TMZ reporters for World Star on Spirit.
Isn't it? They do.
This is some good videos.
It is a lot of fun. Yeah. So Lionsgate, mask mandate now. And of course, the first people to do it are what? Hollywood and higher education.
I was just going to say.
Yeah.
That's always been the history of California, by the way. They grabbed on hold to that new age psychology in the 50s.
Yeah.
And because I call it West Coast stupid.
Yes.
That's what I call it. We have a segment on my show, West Coast fucking stupid. I don't know what it is. Why are they closer to the communism? Explain the fucking history and why they're so stupid and cowed into stuff.
You have a concentration of communists in the entertainment industry, and then of course in higher education as well. A lot of universities there are in California, and of course you have the entire entertainment industry and a lot of media there.
Yeah.
And there was a proactive concentration. McCarthy wasn't wrong about everything.
No.
There was a red scare in the industry for sure. He just got a little overzealous.
I kind of liked it.
And they're all in the colors of blue.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Right. Yeah.
Rutgers.
Wait, what are you saying?
I'm starting to see where Rutgers and Georgetown are going to start this new mask mandate. They all are, by coincidence, bluey states.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the logo, the color blue.
No.
I was like, is this an Illuminati thing?
Very bluey states.
Like blue.
Very blue. Very blue.
So August 20th, you have Morris Brown College now mask mandates.
Not Morris Brown.
Not Morris Brown. What will we do?
I get them against Ohio State third week. They're plus 79.
And they're bringing back social distancing, too. Not just the mask mandates, but social. Like, that is so severe. Rutgers, Georgetown, like you were talking about, they're going to continue with mask mandates. In addition, by the way, to a vaccine mandate. By the way, the same people who go around and bitch, my body, my choice. The same dumbass students.
People are dropping dead.
You conspiracy theorist, you can't prove it's from that. How dare you?
I know. And that's
misinformation.
Yes.
And you just go to the insurance companies, the actuaries have figures go, we've never seen a spike like this.
Yeah.
Starting in 2021, it goes, yeah. But the last 3 weeks, I've read about like a young female college athlete dropping dead. Yep. There's a basketball player, 2 basketball players.
Yep. Yeah.
And there's people, then you go into the comment section, and people are still going, you're a conspiracy theorist, and people drop dead every day.
Yeah.
But we have statistics. We can prove this with pen and pencil, you fucking idiots.
Well, what really bothered me is I would have conservatives reach out behind the scenes and say, it's really irresponsible to, fearmonger with a mRNA vaccine. I'm going, Am I? Is this the Twilight Zone? You're actually calling me, telling me that I should be pushing for this? And by the way,
how did Ted Cruz get your number? No.
Well, it was a Zoom call. I don't give him my personal line. It was, we were all working from home. That was the thing at that point in time. No, you're absolutely right, though. But with the vaccine, here's the thing. If we want to talk about the science, for example, we got suspended. You're allowed to talk about this now. By the way, you're welcome, Mug Club. You can join up louderwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. You're now allowed to question election results. You're now allowed to discuss the mRNA vaccine. Why? Because we were suspended countless times for doing so, and they can't ban all of you. If you want to follow the science, isn't it interesting, for example, when we quoted the CDC, that far more infants, far more toddlers die annually from the flu than COVID? Now, that's not to say that COVID is not deadly for older people, obese people, the immunocompromised. I understand that. No one is saying that it's not real. No one is saying that those people aren't more at risk. But wouldn't it be interesting to study the virus and say, why is it that younger people, what is it about their immune system specifically, where they are not as affected by this, whereas they are by the common flu that comes around every single year? By that same token, wouldn't it be interesting to say, well, hold on a second, why is it that the mRNA injection doesn't affect older people who are more affected by the virus, it seems, as substantially as younger, healthy males? Why are they the ones more likely to encounter complications? With any other drug, you would look at these side effects and the demographics who experience them more, and you would make that information publicly available. If you want to follow the science, these patterns are interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't be to epidemiologists, to biologists, but instead you are precluded from researching the science. Old people get sick and die more. Young people don't. Young people, young healthy males, for some reason have more complications with the vaccine. Old people don't. That's interesting. Why don't we know?
They follow the science until they hit something that doesn't go with their narrative.
Yeah, Wuhan
That's
lab.
where the science stops.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, it's just a fat Asian guy eating a bat. Sorry, why did I say Asian? Chinese. That was racist in its own. It's only the Chinese who eat bats.
Aren't they Asian?
What? Hey,
wrong.
It's okay.
Very disappointing.
We're all adults here.
It's going to be fine.
I'm disappointed in myself. Do we have Alex Jones here on the call? All right. So now we're going to bring him on. You know him. You love him. He's the OG. Let's go to Alex Jones. All right, Mr. Jones, can you hear me? Can you see me, sir?
Loud and clear.
All right. And the show, of course, is Alex Jones 2.0, Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern on Mug Club. Now, you called me last week, Alex. I was telling him about this, about the new lockdowns going into effect. And then I said, well, look, do we need to keep this under our hat for a little bit? And you said, well, maybe we will. And then you blew the lid off of it anyway, which I'm grateful for because now people are aware. But ever since you've done that, we now see these happening with studios and with higher education. Tell people what it is here, your inside source, or I guess your inside information. What is being planned as far as lockdowns and when?
Well, I, like your audience and like your crew, just find it over the top arrogant, but look at everything they do with the Trump indictments that are incredibly unpopular, all of it. They just don't care. The open borders, the human smuggling, the war in Ukraine, they just don't care. $170 billion to Ukraine, $700 to people in Maui, Hawaii. So I get this call, and I'd actually gotten it on Tuesday evening, but I had so many messages I wasn't listening to it till Thursday in my office. And I know this person for 20 years, and they're high up in the transportation system in the TSA. It's actually the agency above them. And so I called them up and they said, hey, I'm in town. Let's go meet. So I went and met them and they said, listen, they called in the managers. This is going to happen middle of September. They're going to try to make all the TSA workers in airports wear them. Then by mid-October, Biden's going to try to bring back masks in the airports and on planes. And I said, well, that's insanely unpopular. What's their excuse? And they said, well, this new variant out of Canada that they say is so bad and hospital numbers are up. So you're going to see a rollout sometime in September of all this. And that's what we've been told. So then I got on the phone, called a few other feds I know. One of them answered with the Border Patrol. They said, yeah, we've been told COVID restrictions are coming back next month as well, that they'll be phased in. So then I went to a computer and typed in, lo and behold, hospitals in New York were already saying, put the mask back on starting next week. I saw reports of colleges already doing it. So
yeah,
I go on my show Friday. I talk about it at 11 a.m. Central. And then by 5 o'clock that night on the nightly news everywhere, all the stations rolled out. COVID's back. Restrictions may be needed again. The BBC, the London Guardian, the Globe and Mail, and all the publications in Canada did their big official rollout again. And get this, a whole bunch of the headlines from Europe, the U.S., and Canada say 2 weeks to slow the spread. They actually say that.
Oh, my
2
God.
weeks to slow the spread. Atlanta College reinstates COVID mask mandates, social distancing despite 0 cases, but they say it's only for 2 weeks. Yeah, like 2.5 years, like it was last time. And then I have a stack of PPE, the preparedness items, record levels of that now being purchased for September and October by the Biden administration. And I've got it just pouring in where they're actually trying this. Also, the Journal of JAMA came out and said that they're going back to mask and to social distancing and the hospitals being overwhelmed and all the same crap.
Hey, Alex,
so
can I ask you, though?
Definitely.
Can I ask you something? Who benefits from this if it happens this September and October, right? It would seem that it would behoove them to try and place this if what you're discussing here, if we're discussing something surreptitious or something nefarious, I guess I should say, it would seem that they would want to plan this for the general election. Why do you think they would be doing this so soon?
Again, Stephen, I find this hard to believe. I'm not saying it's even going to happen. I didn't think they'd launch their fear campaign this quick, which really added a lot of validity to what we broke. I mean, it's gotten tens of millions of views on Twitter, you name it alone. This is a big story because people are obviously, as your crew is saying, are rejecting this. But remember what they did last time. They start the lockdowns about a third of the way into 2020. They create the fear, and then they say, okay, we've got the vaccine. They now say they've got a vaccine ready in mid-September. That was announced on Saturday, magically, just when the TSA was told the masks go back on. So they've got a new variant booster that they say everyone needs to take, and there'll be a new variant booster every year. That was announced by the CDC, by the FDA, by all the different talking heads on the Sunday news shows. So who stands to gain? Well, last time they used it to disrupt the 2020 election, obviously. I mean, they use it to disrupt into 2022. Yeah. And they've just done this basically over and over again. So it'll take them time. I don't think they'll ever get back to complete control, but in the blue cities and in the swing states and the blue states, they're going to be able to bring back the mail-in ballots, which again is now only a year out or so. And so they know exactly what they're doing. This has perfect timing. And I wanted to bring this out, have a big news coverage of it, and then get governors and legislatures and members of Congress to say, no, not this time. Instead of us just receiving the incremental, only 14 days to slow the spread, saying, no, not so fast. I didn't know that 5 hours, 6 hours after I broke it, they would launch their propaganda campaign. So that was perfect. Because everybody's saying, is Jones right about this? He's been right about a lot. And then, boom, they launched exactly what I was warning a little earlier than I was told. I'm kind of surprised. I got to say, though, Alex, you are often right. I'm kind of surprised that any of the feds would talk to you about this, though, at this point. Like, it would seem, is this because there are people who you think still actually care in the federal about our state of freedom? Are these the people who you talk with? Because I'd imagine they would immediately go, well, Alex Jones is obviously going to be incredibly upset with the idea of lockdowns. Well, I've known this transportation official for 22 years. I'm not going to get into how I know them, but they once lived in Austin. They don't now. And so I've known them. I've known their family. I've been to dinner with them probably 20 times. So, I mean, I know this person. I know they're not a BSer. Good. And they're, a degreed, smart person that's given me information before. And then I know the Border Patrol. I mean, I've had meetings with, I'm not going to get too specific here. I've had meetings. And by the way, you guys know Enlow, love my head security guy. You can ask him. He's been in the meetings with me. And senior federal judges, senior federal agents. So we've had meetings in this office on Zoom with senior feds quite a few times, giving us information on the border, where the smuggling centers are. We've been down there. We've shown the human smuggling. Yeah. We've shown the children. We go down there and fly members of Congress around in helicopters. I was involved in a group doing that just yesterday outside Houston, where there's a 200,000 person city they're building for the illegal aliens. And we're going to break all that video tomorrow on my show at 11 a.m. Central. We're going to have and people Colonel can McGregor watch that at madmatchworld.tv. We're going to have Steve Bannon. Yeah, it's not even a plug for the show. What I'm saying is that I have so many federal whistleblowers, I can't even talk to them all. And they're always begging me to cover something, begging me to do something. So most of the feds are good people. They're just compartmentalized. I mean, these federal judges have told me that they'll have a convicted pedophile, convicted 3 or 4 times, caught working in South Texas, driving a school bus for disabled children and molesting them again. And then Merrick Garland, the attorney general, has the power over judges and federal magistrates to not let them indict them. So all they can put them in jail is for crossing the border illegally, and that's about a month in jail. They've released over 20,000 pedophiles since Biden got in the Texas sector alone. I got this directly from high-level federal officials, okay? So that's how big this is. And so, yes, we have a lot of incredible whistleblowers. That's how I knew that Russia was going to invade Ukraine by late February.
I remember that.
In the October before is because I have sources as well. It's no secret there are thousands of U.S. troops before Russia even fully invaded fighting. I know people personally, they don't give me the details, but they are supposedly in Poland. No, they're not in Poland. They're training people how to fire Javelin missiles into tanks and fire anti-aircraft missiles. Okay. So I personally have family in East Texas who has family that is there right now.
Well, what's interesting is that you kind of broke it, and they're not even trying to hide it. They're not even concerned about it because, like you said, then all of a sudden it went mainstream, and they're going, "Oh yeah, we're gonna sort of gradually bring in these lockdowns and mask mandates." So it's almost like whistleblowers are not necessarily needed because they don't even seem concerned because so many of them operate with complete impunity. But I know you'll be talking about that on your show tomorrow, MadMaxWorld.tv. People can watch you today, and of course Fridays at 12 p.m. Eastern. It is incredible to see you call another shot like Babe Ruth and point, and people go, "That's not going to happen." And then 2 days later, it's almost like you were an oracle. Alex, thanks for taking the time, brother.
Hey, guys, thank you so much. It's great to be working with you. We did a 2.5-hour special deep dive on Bill Gates and the globalists and their plan to turn off the resources and take control of our lives. This is the guy that wants to run your life. Everybody that's a Mug Club member needs to go in there and watch that. We're going to have another special show that we're going to shoot on Thursday. That's going to be another deep dive, and then we're going to start doing a lot of on-the-ground reporting like we've done in the past, but we're going to be uploading that as well. And so a lot coming to Mug Club, and it's great to be working with you guys, and thank you so much for your hard work.
Hey, thanks. We appreciate you doing that work on the ground. That has been Alex Jones, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what we ended up talking about after the...
That guy's amazing. It's who needs the Simpsons?
He's Alex Jones for a reason.
He's Simpsons on steroids.
All of a sudden, we're talking about javelins and tanks and pedophiles released in East Texas.
I was thinking the same thing as you, though. I'm going, why would the feds talk to...
why would they talk to Alex Jones?
How do you make
it's getting out. Yeah, I know.
Huh? How do you... It's amazing. And he's right. I mean, like you said, he says the stuff, and then a month later or a week later...
Yeah, and he's always been that way.
He's been right about it.
It's always been that way.
To the point where I'm going, I can't even. But I like the fact that they say the government's pointing out we're only we're just 2 weeks we're going to have you.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
They're cutting and pasting from the propaganda we used 3 years ago.
They're so
transparent.
They're not concerned.
Well, how do you? First of all, every September, everyone gets sick.
I know every
time you go to school, back to college, back to school. Everyone gets sick in September. That's number one. But how do you predict pandemic? Didn't we? This is where I get confused. I get really pissed. So when Fauci's on trial and they're asking him all the questions and we went through this, was that in Congress or whatever? What happens when they're caught with their pants down lying? Where is all this?
They get a raise.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get a raise, they get a promotion, or they get to step down, or they get their own custom Tops card.
It's mind-boggling.
Watch Louder with Crowder live, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.